Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore positively. Back out on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour Trail. Been eating a lot of crab cakes this week. I even had some crabs over at Costas. We'll be back at Costas next week doing the show. But this week we're at Coco's on Wednesday. My co-host, Mike Resigliano, my favorite sports artist and one of my oldest friends, Max Weiss will be there. Damian O'Doherty's going to stop by. I have some other invited guests. That's Wednesday from 2 until 5 will be at Coco's. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I'll have some Pac-Man scratch-offs. We get the new Lucky 7 game together, as well as our friends at Jiffy Lube Multi-Care, keeping the car oiled and lubed, doing it right. And our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions, keeping my water crystal clear and in my glass. We'll be on Friday. We're doing Fleet Week. We're going to be down at Cooper's and Fells Point. Costas next Thursday for the end of the Orioles-Yankees series. We'll be there from 1 until 4. Also got some great guests there, including Jessica Vallis. You've been out to our new website. It's supercharged. Thanks to our friends at Hartford Designs. And then we are ending the month at Pappas in Parkville. Leonard Raskin's going to join us, some other friends. So we'll be down there. I'll be having a chicken franchise along with my crab cake. This guy and I have not had a crab cake here this season because he was too busy eating those pimento sandwiches down there in Augusta. It is golf season. It's always golf season when you're Ed Miller. You're the golf pro at Pine Ridge. Our Classic 5 friends teeing it up yet again here this week is we got some U.S. Open conversation, some Pinehurst. Who cares about Pinehurst? All I care about the azaleas and what was going. Dude, it's been 2 months. How are you? How are things up the street here? How are the kids doing up there hitting the balls?
Everything is great, Nestor. Thank you again so much for having us. But yeah, the kids are out there. We're in full force. Season's going. Everything's blooming. Everything's so green, I think, because of all the rain we had. So I feel like we're Augusta of the North right now at Old Pine Ridge, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's Pinehurst and there's Pine Ridge. I don't know. Now, you've been to Augusta. So let's start with Augusta and start with these majors and where the state of golf is and the crazy stuff with the Saudis and everything that's going on for these majors. But you went to Augusta. You were leaving. We did the show a little early. We got all discombobulated on a Sunday, and you're flying. Give me your Masters journey, because every golfer out there, I saw a bunch of golfers that were golfing at Sparrows Point, down at Costa the other day. Every golfer's dream is to do it. You've done it a handful of times, and I never checked back in with you to say, did you sneak something out of Butler Cabin or anything like that, or what happened?
No, just another, another great trip to the Masters. Like you said, Augusta's always in tip-top shape. Crowds were great. Obviously Scotty Scheffler again, rolling it up. All the big boys out there. Even some of the Saudi-backed players. It was almost like nothing has changed. The Masters is pretty much the same as usual. Great food, great crowds, excellent weather this year. And again, just watching Scotty Scheffler kind of roll, and it was a good time. Wish you can come down there, have some sandwiches with me, even though pimento and cheese not the greatest.
My mother's from the South, dude. No, bueno. I was down in the South seeing Sammy Hagar. I was in South Carolina, the Palmetto State. I got some pimento stuck on top of a fried green tomato, which my mother would have liked it. To me, it wrecked the tomato. You know what I mean? I'm not too much for the pimento and whatnot. But are you a serial got to go to Pebble Beach, got to go here? Do you have other bucket list things once you do? Like, I'm not a golfer, right? But if I've turned down a couple chances to go to Augusta, and you can shoot me in the head if you want. I still haven't gotten there. But if I was going to go to one place, that would maybe St. Andrews, maybe, because it looks cool and all that. But my wife and I were watching the Orioles the other day, and we had the window open, and we live where it's forested. My wife brings all the cardinals and stuff. She feeds the birds, and we had the window open. It was like one of those beautiful days we had last week. It was 70 degrees. It's perfect. And my wife broke her ankle, so she can't move much. But we heard the birds, and I listened out the window, and I'm like, it sounds like Augusta. No, I don't know what it smells like or whatever, but they do a great job on TV of giving you what it sounds like.
Absolutely. I mean, it is well, the crowds there at Augusta, I've been to the BMW, I've been to other tour events, and they do seem like they're a little bit more behaved at Augusta than other places. But
well, certainly more so than Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, definitely 10 times more than over at Phoenix. But it's funny, the last couple of years I have been hearing the conspiracies about them bringing in the bird noises. And I will say, we do see some birds, but you are right. I don't know if they put microphones in the trees, but it does seem
Do
like the
they
birds are
really
so
pipe
much
it in?
louder.
Do they? Because I
I'm
know
not
what real
sure yet.
birds sound like. I mean, I was
Yeah,
wondering, for a guy that's been down there, if you're saying you're not
yeah.
hearing the birds, I'm like, well, why am I
Oh,
hearing the birds with 20,000 people out on the golf course that they're
yeah.
tweeting like, you know what? I'd
That
hate
could,
to think that they manufacture anything at a major tournament like this. What
that
are we
might be my next
manufacturing?
thing.
What are we manufacturing this week for U.S. Open? I mean, you follow the sports. Why? One of the reasons I love having pros on, and it is really a
Mhm.
special thing to be a PGA golf pro the way you are, because you explained to me how it kind of worked to be able to go
Yeah,
do these kind of things.
yeah, yeah. Well, the U.S. Open Pinehurst, I would say, it's kind of like the East Coast capital of golf. They claim to have made the first driving range 100 years ago and practice facilities. So, even though Augusta is not quite as old, Pinehurst definitely has its own share of history and great golf course designers, great champions of the past. So, Pinehurst could be a good bucket list item for a golfer. Honestly, probably easier to get to the U.S. Open than the Masters. So, once every 10 years or so, when it comes back to Pinehurst, it'd be a great trip.
All
Kind of
those
an easy
guys you have on the
drive.
picture over at Mount Pleasant played Pinehurst, right?
Yep, yep, absolutely, absolutely. And to me, I've been to Pinehurst a couple times. Actually, I was actually born about 30 minutes outside of Pinehurst, so I've been to Pinehurst a number of times as well. And
Have you played it?
maybe not. Oh yes, sir. I've played number two, number four. I've played a lot of them actually. So yeah, it's definitely a great location. It'd be a good East Coast bucket trip list for
Well, that's good.
most golfers.
That's interesting to know, like, because
Yeah.
we do go to sleep on that a little bit. They played at Valhalla a couple weeks ago. That's a course that I've been
Hmm.
on. Chris Redmond lives on that course. I didn't have you on. I had Richard on that week. From over at Forest Park talking about the
Yeah.
tournament that week. But for I've had friends that have played Pebble Beach recently, and the day you play Pebble Beach, you put a picture up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're somewhere. How many courses do you feel that way about? Like, I guess we'd say I've been to all baseball stadiums, right? I did the baseball
Oh, that's
tour,
awesome. Yeah.
right? So, I mean, and when I say to you, I've been to all the stadiums, the first ones you want to ask me about are the ones you haven't been to. And you start with Fenway,
Yeah.
Wrigley, Dodger, and then I guess you would say Camden Yards. Did you go to Pittsburgh? I would tell you that I love the Minnesota State, the little Target Field's beautiful out there.
Uh,
San Francisco is beautiful. But that's a baseball thing. That's an easy vernacular for me as a
mm,
non-golf golfer. I know the famous, up in Pittsburgh. I mean, right, Oakmont.
mhm.
Right? So they have some of those. What are your favorites, and what are the ones you've been to? And you keep going back to Augusta and Pinehurst. Do you have
Yeah.
have you been to Pebble Beach?
No, that's actually one of my bucket lists. I'd say Pebble Beach. You can hit the other one, St. Andrews. I would love to start planning one of those before I get too old to walk that golf course. But Pebble Beach is kind of like the last big one for me in the United States. And I'm not necessarily a world traveler. I'd say most of the famous golf courses that I've been to are all kind of on the East Coast, Key Island, Pebble Beach. There's a couple in Florida that I've been to that are pretty awesome as well.
By
But
the way, I stayed at the Wynn a couple weeks ago with all the Maryland party people.
yeah,
That like little exclusive golf club like that's next to it. That's the Steve Wynn special. You have to
yeah,
like pay $5 a night and get
yeah.
on. Like there's some places in Vegas and places like that, Palm
Oh
Springs, that
yeah.
just are stunning courses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. They don't necessarily have the history and all that stuff of tour events, but yeah, there'd be so many I could probably never knock them out in terms of exclusively beautiful golf courses in America. It's pretty awesome
They're
actually. But
manufactured
Pinehurst
to
is
be that
old.
way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The kind of the elite may not get off on some of them ones you're mentioning unless I spend that 5 grand. So they might not be on the bucket list. Pebble
Well,
Beach is almost like that though.
hey, when I would go out to Arizona for spring training or the owners meetings, anything that's
Mhm.
out there, people would always have their sticks with them. But then you see the pictures of these dramatic, Camelback and Red Rock. I mean, there's just so
Yeah.
many. I found a golf course on an island called Hamilton Island. You can Google this, in Australia. That's to the mouth of where, all the deep sea diving and all the Great Barrier Reef is and all that.
Oh,
And people come from all over the world to play it because it's unique in that there's no automobiles on the whole island. There's only golf. It's an island. It's like Fantasy Island. You can only play golf there. The way people dream these things up, but they all begin with seeing Pinehurst or seeing, Augusta or seeing St. Andrews. I had a real show on
absolutely.
this weekend of a smart ass dude in the middle of the night after dark out on the streets in Scotland, right by St.
Uh-huh.
Andrews, and he hits a driver over the buildings and then runs around the corner, and he's on that crazy course, with that's by the
Yeah.
castles, and there's like
Yeah. Yeah.
cobblestone because he's hitting the shot from the street up onto the course.
Of course.
It's kind of
Oh,
like
that'd be
people base diving from a tower. They're doing these crazy
yeah.
things because they love these courses so much. And Pinehurst is one of these courses in America, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, over 100 years old. And heck, Pinehurst is up to 10 courses on that property. So that's why I call it the East Coast Mecca of golf. Yeah, you wanna escape and just think golf for a week. Pinehurst is probably one of your best choices you can make on the East Coast for sure.
Plenty of room. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
So tournament wise, where are you in the scramble that is this tournament this week and what it represents as a major?
Well, it's funny, Augusta. The neat thing about the Masters is it's always at the same golf course every year, so you get kind of used to it, and everybody learns the course. The U.S. Open, even though it changes venues every year, to me, one of the coolest things about the U.S. Open is it always falls on Father's Day weekend. So, like my own little family tradition is my dad and I will always watch. We watch the Sunday, back nine of the U.S. Open together, probably the last 20 years. So, in that respect, it's kind of a great, it could be a great family thing.
You do
You
it at
plan it with
home?
your dad. Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just chatting.
Yeah.
Like I lost my dad 30 years ago, and I often think like,
Okay.
what games would I still be watching with him? What would I
Yeah.
what would I pop over on the couch and watch a hockey game with my dad or
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that? To have those kind of traditions really special. I mean, that makes the tournament even more special for you every year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And going back to that, it's one of the US Open courses that you can actually play because it's a public golf course. It's not like an Oakmont or a Winged Foot. So that's what makes this US Open kind of neat, kind of know that the fact that, hey, if you really want to play it, you can go book a trip and go play the same golf course that's kind of unchanged and the best pros in the world get to play. So love it. And the fact that, again, like I said, my dad's still around, so we still get to watch it. And my dad's been there at Pinehurst, so we'll get to kibitz a little bit, cook out, watch the back nine. I'll probably root against Scotty Scheffler because I think he's winning too much, but it'll be a good thing for my dad and I to hang out. So
Is
for
that what
sure,
happens when guys start to win? They become the bad guy right away when they win too much.
I think so. They become like the Yankees back in the '90s or whatever, like that. Yeah, 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 absolutely.
It is such an open world for golf after the Tiger Show and before that,
Yeah,
sort of, the Jack Show and even Tom Watson and some of those guys when we were younger, where winning has become. It's hard to win every week. I mean, even in tennis, we got a little spoiled
yeah,
with Nadal and a bunch of, and
yeah,
and the Williams sisters just winning everything.
yeah,
Golf
yeah.
feels way more wide open, and I guess in the era of wagering, I was going to have you handicap the handicap of the field this week. But who do you like at Pinehurst this week?
Well, honestly, I'd probably root against him, but if I were to put a little wager down, I'd have to put something on Scotty, even though his odds aren't as great. All the wins he's already had this year. Heck, I read something yesterday. I didn't realize it, but after his win this past weekend, he's number 6 or 7 on the career all-time money list. He's already won
Already?
20. Yeah, he's already won $24 million this year uh, with the major win, and he's winning all these signature events on the tour. It's definitely the closest thing to Tiger of 2002 that we've seen, for
And he
sure.
had a little drama in Louisville, from what I remember.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't get to that event, but that might be the only way to keep Scotty from winning. Maybe a little trip to the to the jail.
Lock him
So
up might be the only. Yeah,
yeah,
maybe we'll keep the new. I have a feeling the North Carolina police officer going to behave a little differently in regard
yeah,
to all of that and the way that thing shook out. Ed Miller is here.
yeah.
He is the head pro right up the street from where my radio station is at Pine Ridge. What is going on up there? Last I checked up there, simulators all up in front. We're teaching everybody on digital. We're working on, short game, long game, working on every
Absolutely.
single measurement. And young people come to you, and it's not hard to get them out there and show them progress pretty quickly.
That is correct. Yeah, we are absolutely in full steam ahead, so to speak. The season is definitely rolling. We appreciate the little mention of the top tracer. That's definitely going. Here we are in June already, so we got leagues are rolling, full loaded boards. We got all these clinics lined up. We got junior camps. We got long drive competition this Saturday with the top tracer. So it's definitely a fun place to come learn some golf, hang out, practice some golf, and just enjoy a country club atmosphere. Be a part of something.
So, how many years you been there now after being down at Mount Pleasant? Because I think people would love you. I love you. And if I were a golfer with a car in my age, I could go to all 5 of the Classic 5 golf courses, and I probably would because it's inexpensive. It's easy to get on. There's people
Yeah,
like you there, and Richard over in Forest, but good people that
yeah,
care and have been a part of Classic 5 for a long, long time. But you switched courses and you went up.
yeah.
What would you say the differences? And I would also think for young people, North County, being able to come out, you mentioned we got this and that and this and that and this and that. I'm thinking you probably have some kid there that's 14. You met him 2 years ago. He's
Mhm.
11, who or she now involved in all of this. And you see these kids 6, 7 days a week now that school's out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say, the biggest difference are obviously all of our golf courses. I like to think with the Classic 5 are great golf courses. Uh, Pine Ridge is actually the youngest of the 5. The other golf courses have been around a lot longer. I think the one thing that separates Pine Ridge from the other ones is the fact that we do have the practice facility. We have definitely unfortunately, Mount Pleasant built in the 30s. The practice facilities weren't that important back then when they were designing golf courses, so they didn't put one there. So we get all the people who want to practice, even though they're playing other courses. The people that are new to golf that want to learn golf, they come to Pine Ridge because of the practice area, the driving range, the chipping greens, the putting greens, and that's kind of what separates us a
So
little
you
bit from
get the
the other ones.
students from your colleagues at other Classic 5 because they're like, look, if you
Yeah.
want to work on this is the place to do it, right?
Yes, yep, absolutely, and that's kind of what it is. And obviously, we get a lot of regulars that tend to play all of our courses. But at Pine Ridge, the neat thing is I get to see them all. I get to meet a lot of the players. For example, on the Wednesday Senior League at Forest Park, handful of them will come up to Pine Ridge and hit balls and practice so they can get ready for their Wednesday play day with the seniors. So that's the unique thing about Pine Ridge.
I want to ask you this because I don't think I've ever asked you this. It's just kind of coming to me here a little bit. The practice part of golf, okay? Like when I got lessons, I got learned how to get the do it right, on the
Yeah,
grip. So I'm not
yeah,
swinging it like a baseball bat and extend the basics of hitting a golf ball, whether using chip, putt, teeing off, whatever we're doing, learning all of that. I never, and I played, in my late 20s, early 30s. I'm 55 now. I got a jacked up back. We all know that.
yeah.
When I played, I didn't practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I would be invited to a tournament, this, that, go out, hit a little bit, whatever. The practicing part of getting better at it, you recommend practicing in a non I'm playing my 9 today, Carroll
Yeah.
Park, or my 18 or whatever. Like the only way you're really going to get better is to do it a little bit on the side so you can bring it to the course. I would think if I were
Mm,
serious about playing and getting good at it, not frustrating hitting the ball all over the
mm,
place and being twice a year at some charity thing, but being good enough that I could go out and do it, enjoy it, be better at it so I could enjoy it more. The practice part of this, when you mentioned Mount Pleasant, nobody thought about it. You sort of learned as you went
yeah, yeah,
along and lost balls and all of that.
yeah,
You don't have
absolutely.
to do that anymore. Like you can
Yeah,
literally get on the simulator all summer long and not get on the course and just
yeah,
work on shots. So when you get on the course, you're not losing balls and you could be
yeah.
better at it without being so damn frustrated. And what do they say? A long walk spoiled or whatever
Yeah,
Feinstein said about it,
exactly,
right?
exactly. No, absolutely. I don't want to be pulling the Allen Iverson card, talking about practice. But the reality is, if you want to improve it, heck, if you even just want to keep your skill level, you need to put in some practice. But most people don't realize it. But you go out and play golf, and let's just say you shoot 100. The reality is, you're only going to have 50 full swings in that round of golf. You got the putting, the chipping, and all that other stuff. You can go to the driving range and hit 85 ball bucket. That's equivalent to almost 2 rounds of golf. So, in terms of practice, yeah, yeah. I mean, back when I was learning golf, I was told you needed to practice 2 practice sessions for every round of golf. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
And
that
I know
that's
golf
probably
is more
not
fun.
wrong if you want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
improve. If you just want to go
yeah,
out and hit and be a jackwagon 3 times a year and
yeah,
chase the ball, right? I mean, and that's fun
yeah.
too. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
you want to get better at it, so you're not chasing the ball, so when you're in a captain's choice, you're not pulling up the back, right? Literally,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like you said, golf balls start costing money. So, instead of buying a dozen balls for every round of golf, maybe a bucket every month might save you a couple dozen balls a month out on the
Uh,
golf course. So
I love that.
yeah,
Ed Miller's here with great advice. He's up at Pine Ridge, just north. Tell everybody where you are, how to get to you, how to find all this. All the Classic Five places are great. We got it's a big golf weekend. It's Father's Day weekend. We got big baseball weekend. It's Fleet Week
yep.
weekend. But for if you're golfing and the weather has been
Mhm.
just after all the rain, the weather's been
Oh yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, it's been beautiful. And like I said, we're into the season, and it is golf season. Heck, they even had that little golf tournament at Camden Yards last week. Had a couple of my buddies participate in that. So it's golf season now.
Now, is
So
that
yeah,
something you get your rocks off? Because I saw
yeah,
everybody putting pictures up, and I said to my wife, "I'm not a golfer, and I don't need to see my ball stroll into the center field,
yeah,
please." If I was going to do that, I'd want to do it with a baseball because my last name's Aparicio. But
that's right.
boy, people really got on.
Yeah.
Everybody loved doing that, right?
Yeah, no, they definitely loved it. And a lot of the golfers that were there are some of my regulars at Pine Ridge. And like I said, you can always find us at classic5golf.com. Come out and play some golf. You don't want to be that guy that went to Camden Yards aiming for center field and accidentally hitting it in right field or bouncing one off the warehouse. But yeah, come see us at any one of the golf courses because the season is rolling. We are definitely in it now. So
Yeah, I don't know about that, man. I'm shanking one, and it lands in the left field.
yeah,
You miss it
yeah,
one there, you get to see how ugly it is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's different
more
than the
gallery
range.
watching you. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Find Ed, find all of our friends at Classic Five Golf. We're indebted to you guys for your partnership and relationship, and we're always encouraging folks to go out. This is local, affordable,
Yep.
easy access, and more than that, you get really cool local people like Ed that know a lot about golf to help you know a little bit more about golf and tweak your game, make it a little bit more fun for you, your kids, your wife, your spouse, your girlfriend, your buddies, whatever it is. You watching the Orioles? What's up, Ed?
Oh yeah, love the Orioles. Watch it. Actually going Tuesday night, so going to cheer our Orioles on against the Braves. And yeah, no, it's awesome. Been loving it.
It is really something every single day here
Yeah.
talking baseball. It's kind of the way I drew it up 32 years ago, and it kind of got away for a little while, but
Uh,
it is fun. It is June. It is Father's Day week. There's golf ahead. Got a little U.S. Open this week at Pinehurst. Our friend Ed Miller and everybody in the Classic Five group, you can find them at Classic Five Golf, and you hear them here all the time. Hit it straight at there, Ed. Next time I see you, we'll be in the playoffs. I know it.
that's right. That's what we're shooting for. Absolutely.
All right.
Go O's.
Send me those pictures over those pimento sandwiches. I know what to avoid. We are doing a Maryland crab cake tour. No pimento on our damn crab cakes this week. Not down at Cooper's on Friday. Certainly not at Coco's on Wednesday. We're going to be at Costas next Thursday before the Orioles-Yankees game. And then later in the month, we'll be at Pappas on the 25th. That's a Tuesday afternoon, hitting all of our core sponsors in June to make sure we get the freshest summer crab cakes, just like I had those fresh crabs at Costas the other day. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive.